From the beginning of the Mesopotamian era, there have been many advances in astronomy, math, and physics. Mesopotamians built ziggurats to study the stars. They also created a 12 and 13-month calendar. Egyptians revised the calendar to have a 365-day cycle and also used the stars to plot flooding of the Nile for agricultural reasons. Stonehenge. Everyone's heard of this famous rock formation. Some believe it to be used for ancient astronomy, others as a calculator for eclipses, and some even UFOs, but let's not talk about them. The Chinese, they mainly use their versions of astronomy for the zodiac and a little bit of timekeeping, and that's all that I could see, really. Thales was known for using geometry to distance ships, which is a very useful thing in the time that he was alive. He was also the first reported person to use deductive reasoning. Pythagoras should sound familiar to anyone who took geometry, for he created the equation a squared plus b squared equals c squared, Pythagorean theorem. The Babylonians kept many different star catalogs, and also are the ones who gave 60 minutes to each hour. Bet you didn't know that. Aristotle was a major physicist back in his time, and his greatest accomplishment has to be the works of defining motion. Aristarchus was the first to put the sun in the center of the solar system, and also happened to give the months their exact times. Eratosthenes was the first to try and give the Earth a good circumference and an axis tilt with surprising accuracy for his time. He was also the first to make a complete detailed map of the world. Hipparchus. He was the one who created every math student's least favorite subject, trigonometry. And he was also the first to be able to come up with a reliable method to predict eclipses. The Mayans. They created the world's most accurate calendars, but that was only a small step in their goal to discern the universe and learn the secrets. Ptolemy. He wrote books on his views of geography, astronomy, and astrology. There wasn't much else that I could find, so sorry about that. The Arabs named and found many stars, including the star Altair. Copernicus created the first model of the universe and also fixed many major problems with banking. Tycho Brahe, considered the first major mind in astronomy, or is he? Galileo, the father of astronomy. He was also the one who proved that Venus had phases. Kepler. He created the most accurate telescope of his time and also studied celestial physics. Newton created the laws of motion. He also studied the speed of sound and how fast you'd have to go faster than that. Edmund Halley. He studied and calculated this orbit of Halley's Comet. He also studied terrestrial magnetism. Einstein. He studied the theory of relativity and also worked on the energy to matter equivalence theory. He also was a big contender in the Manhattan Project. Niels Bohr. He worked on the structure of an atom, and he also created his own quantum theory. Wolfgang Pauli. He worked on quantum physics and the Pauli exclusion principle. Werner Heisenberg. He worked and was one of the key creators in quantum mechanics and planned the first West German nuclear reactor. Edwin Hubble was an extragalactic astronomer who also created the metric expansion of space theory. Georges Lemaître. He worked on his own theory of the universe that came to be known as the cosmic egg theory. Robert Oppenheimer, a theoretical physicist, was probably most known for his work on the Manhattan Project. I couldn't find very much on Fred Hoyle, except that his major accomplishment was that he coined the term Big Bang. Penzias and Wilson, their most famous accomplishment was probably to find sound remnants of the Big Bang. Neil Armstrong, he was the first person to land on the moon, and he was also from the Purdue and MIT schools. Did you know that?